A protest takes place later today that the Queen starred Brian May, with whom we'll be speaking to in just a second, over this hunting with dogs. I've just mentioned it's on the front page of a couple of newspapers today. David Cameron's made no effort to hide his opposition to the hunting ban. He wrote in the Countryside Alliance magazine earlier this year, there's definitely a rural way of life which a born and bred Londoner might struggle to understand. I've always been a strong supporter of country sports. Before the election, the Prime Minister promised a free vote on scrapping the Hunting Act altogether, a vote he would most likely lose, but MPs will get a free vote on whether to let a pack of dogs flush out foxes rather than just the two allowed now. Supporters point to the fact that this will put hunting with dogs in England and Wales on a par with what happens north of the border in Scotland. Queen Star animal rights campaigner and founder of the Save Me Trust, Dr. Brian May, who also earns a CBE, joins me now. Dr. May, or Brian, will you be taking part in this demonstration? Morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can, sir. Yes, go ahead. Will you be taking part in this demonstration, and why is it important to you?
Yes, I will. I shall be there later on. It's incredibly important because we are looking at the repeal of the Fox Hunting Act under a different name. They're trying to bring it in through the back door, and it's a disgrace, really.
But surely they're just putting it on a par with what happens north of the border.
No, that's a fallacy. This is not parity with the Scottish Act. The Scottish Act is, in fact, very different. And you can see that even the penalties are different. You can get put in prison for 6 months in Scotland for flouting the Wild Mammals Act. There's no such provision in England. It's just a fine if you get caught flouting the law. And there are many, many other differences which I can't even go into here. No, that's a fallacy. That's another excuse. The other excuse is, of course, that it's all about farming, which it isn't. It's about people racing around the countryside, causing abuse to wild animals.
Do foxes need controlling in any way, shape or form, and if so, how then, Brian?
I think it's very peripheral. There was a 5-year study done by DEFRA on the predation of lambs by foxes, and they concluded that it was really negligible. And all this, is about the upland hunts is nonsense. It's another scam, really. This is just about a sport. It's a very cruel sport, and it belonged in the last century and not this one.
I wonder if you'd say that, Brian May, if you were a chicken farmer.
Do you know what? I probably would, because I would be a sensible enough farmer. I know loads of these people, and most of the farmers I know are not out there killing foxes. They're saying, of course we can protect our chickens. That's an old ruse. It's another excuse. There are so many excuses, so many lame claims about foxes, which justify this horribly cruel sport.
And lastly, supporters say the foxes they don't suffer, they're killed instantly as and when the hounds get to them. How do you respond to that?
Well, words fail me, really. And there's so much evidence now that the foxes suffer terribly, even before they're caught. This whole business of pursuing them is quite disgusting. I think the most disgusting thing is the dishonesty. Saying foxes need to be controlled, we have to do this. And, if animals need to be controlled, in inverted commas, well, there are certainly other ways of doing it rather than chasing out there and having a jolly time causing pain. I mean, I'm all for having a jolly time. Don't get me wrong. It's great that people can go out on their horses and run around. But there is drag hunting. Drag hunting is a proper sport. It's 150 years old. It's an artificial scent, and no animals are torn apart and disemboweled while they're still alive. It's disgusting sport. It needs to stay in history.
Animal rights campaigner, founder of the Save Me Trust, and, of course, Queen musician. Brian May, thank you for your time. 27 after 7.